This is Bethel College Volleyball. Live.
Sports Network. We are coming from you from the White Camp Athletic Center and Gates Gymnasium tonight as we bring you a classic rivalry match in Bethel College and Grace College. We're joined now by Andrew. Andrew, it's always a great matchup when these two schools come together. Doesn't matter the sport. Tonight it's volleyball. Couple teams trying to get their first win in the Crossroads League.
Yep. Like you said, both teams trying to get that elusive first win in a Crossroads League play. Both teams coming in 0-2, so let's see how it goes. I hope Pilots can pull this one out.
Well, as we touched on, big rivalry, and when that happens, throw the records out the window. It's going to be a heated match. It should be a great match, and we're going to have it all for you here tonight on the Bethel Sports Network. And we're going to go live to the action now. As we get started tonight for the Pilots on the floor, it is going to be Katie Easter, Peyton Anderson, Cassandra Williams, Kristen Mitchell, Zoe Wolfenbarger, and Haley Brown. The libero, Aaron Carlos, will certainly hop in very quickly. For those of you that maybe aren't accustomed to some of the rules of volleyball, she can just kind of come and go as she pleases. So the subbing, we will, of course, keep you up to date on that. If you joined us on Wednesday night, the Pilots had a tough loss at the hands of Taylor. They lost that in 4 games, 4 incredibly close games, and hopefully tonight, as you touched on, they can get their first victory here in the Crossroads League.
Oh, yeah, I definitely hope they can bounce back after that really close loss to Taylor last Wednesday.
Well, as we get things started, the Pilots will get the first serve here in game 1. It will be Katie Easter, and we are underway tonight, Grace and Bethel. Big hit there that Aaron Carlos was able to keep up. Kristen Mitchell comes back. Free ball for the Pilots, and another ball kept alive. 2 good plays there, and it's going to end up with a point for Grace. That is their libero, number 10, Kaylee Teal, saving a couple of good hits from Kristen Mitchell, and Grace gets the first point of the night. Set up by Peyton Anderson, and Zoe Wolfenbarger to the corner for the first point. They call her Vegas, and she has been really the team leader this season. She's led the team in both kills and aces, so great offensive weapon there, and she gets her night started off the right way. And here's Haley Brown, tip over, kept alive, quick set over. Peyton Anderson, the Pilots are going to have a good chance here. Wolfenbarger blocked back. Good hands there by Haley Brown. And that is out of bounds off of the hit, and that will give Grace a 2-1 lead. Pilots not only looking for their first win in Crossroads League action, they are looking for their first win at home, and that is certainly not the way that Coach Rochelle Wiegand wanted to start her career, 0-5 at home, but that's how it's gone, and there's a huge hit from Grace, and it is a 3-1 lead here early.
Definitely want to protect that home turf when we're trying to get that first win tonight. See if we can bounce back, get back in it.
And it's going to be Kristen Mitchell trying to knock it over. Grace will reset. And block back. Haley Brown and Kristen Mitchell on the block.
Well played by the Pilots right there.
And it will be the Pilots' best server. That's Vegas getting ready to try to tie this thing up for the Pilots. Knockdown, save there, free ball for Grace. Tipped over, and nobody's home. That's Kelsey Zwiedma. Saw her in warm-ups. She can really put a lot of power behind those kills. Right there, she didn't have to, though. She just found the open zone, got the point for the Lancers. High toss there, and it doesn't pan out. Service error into the net, and that's a free point for the Pilots.
Kristen Mitchell back to serve now for Pilots.
Good serve there by Mitch. Quick set, little miscommunication, but it's going to work out, and Grace is going to get a free ball out of it. Big hit, kept alive, and they just can't get it up and over the net. That was number 15, Sierra Smith, with the big hit that the Pilots just couldn't get returned. Haley Brown blocked back at her. Cassie Sears able to keep it in the air. And it's going to be Zoe Wolfenbarger off the block and in, and the Pilots back to within one.
That was an amazing hit by Vegas there.
It'll be Haley Brown back to serve. She got on a couple of pretty good rolls the other night against Taylor that really helped the Pilots when they needed it. We'll see if she can start off hot here and get the Pilots a lead. That was a fantastic set by Taylor Baird. The pass was a little errant. She had to go up and get it, and then a big shot there from Sierra Smith. And it will go back to Grace. High serve, set by Peyton Anderson the other way. Just has to be a tip. And a quick set. Back the other way, Peyton Anderson finds this gap and brings the Pilots to back within one. She tried that a few times the other night against Taylor. Got called for some double hits a couple times, but she has good vision. She can find those zones. It's just about execution. She did right there, and now the Pilots have to serve back.
And now she's back to serve.
And a block somehow kept alive, but it'll be a free ball here. Here comes Cassie Sears. Off block, kept alive. Just tipped over. Peyton was there. Cassie Sears. No one can get a good set of passes to get a real strong hit on it. Vegas will knock one home, though. Saved back. Another free ball for the Pilots. Can they put this one away? Set by Anderson. Vegas gonna knock it home. And the Pilots have tied it up. Very long rally there, and the Pilots have to be feeling good about getting that one.
Oh yeah, that would put the momentum in their favor, see if they can get some more points out of it.
Quick set, blocked away. That was Wolfenbarger and Williams up at the net. Not even sure if that one got to them. That was a pretty low hit. Either way, it's a Pilot point. They have their first lead of the night at 7-6. Quick set back. And miscommunication. Peyton Anderson wanted to set up Zoe Wolfenbarger, but got a little bit in her way. No one went after that one, and it ties it up. So an error there by the Pilots. Is Caitlin Kerrigan serving now for Grace. And Cassandra Williams puts it home. Pilots back up by one.
There we go. That was a great shot by Cassandra Williams. Now Katie Easter back to serve.
And a service error there by Easter. That was another problem that plagued the Pilots the other night. A lot of unforced errors. Taylor had plenty to their own right, and that really made those games close. Both teams really not playing at the top of their game, and so far here tonight, a couple of unforced errors for the Pilots. See if they can get that out of their system, and a hit right on the line. Just sneaking it in, did Wolfenbarger. And the Pilots are back up one. Good serve there by Erin Carlos. Set up by Baird. Big hit, blocked back at her. Quick set, and it is out of bounds. Point to the Pilots.
Well played by the Pilots front line on that one, on that rally.
Well, we said how Zwiedna can really knock them home, and that'll be huge for the Pilots tonight. Try to get up in her line of vision, block them back at her. Try to shake her confidence a little bit early. She's going to go for it again. That one is saved by Aaron Carlos. Great play there. Kristen Mitchell coming back, tips it over. Grace will reset. Big hit, and it's out of bounds. That was Tori Bontrager trying to kill it. Just goes wide left. And the Pilots have opened up a 3-point lead, biggest for either side tonight. Block back at him, and another Pilot point.
Great block there by Zoe Wolfenberger, and
Haley Brown, I think, was the other one up at the net for the Pilots.
yep.
Hit from the back line, kept alive. Setting up, it's going to be Vegas just over the net and in. Pilots going on a run. I think timeout coming up for Grace.
Well, they got all the momentum right now. Aaron Carlos back to set it over one more time.
Coach Katie Van Hofwagen going to let it fly right now. It looked like she wanted to go call a timeout. Thought differently of it. And Grace ends up getting a point. 13-9 now. Pilots still on top. It'll be Taylor Baird on to serve. She's a senior out of West Point, Indiana. She's made some great plays early on with the set. There she is going over to Swedma. Big kill, tipped off the block, they say. And that will be a point for the Lancers. Hit there by Haley Brown. Free ball for the Pilots. We'll see if Anderson can get a good set. And Vegas goes wide left.
Just gotta bring it down a little bit. You can get it in bounds.
Pilots had opened up a 5-point lead. Grace, though, coming back with 3 of their own, is 13-11. High serve, and that is off the net. So a service error there just when Grace was starting to build up some momentum. Pilots get the serve back.
All right, Zoe Wolfenberger back to serve for the Pilots. See if she can get the momentum back in the Pilots' favor.
Baird now setting it up. That's Smith. Off the block. Mitchell's going to try to come back with one of her own. Hers is blocked. Swedma just tipping it over. Kept alive. Anderson's going to try to set it to the back. Saved off the net. Still alive, and it's finally a Pilot point. Grace was just trying to survive there, and they just ran out of time on that one.
Definitely a great rally by the Pilots.
Kept alive. We'll see if Peyton can get it up. So we've got to send this one over. She does. Here's Smith. Good save there by Zoe. Tipped over. That's off the block and out. Point for the Pilots. And a timeout by the Lancers as the Pilots have regained their 5-point lead. And if you joined us on Wednesday night, the Pilots could not really get a good start under their belt. They completely have done the opposite of that here tonight. 2 different times they've had a 5-point lead. They now lead 16-11. And Andrew, they've come out with a lot of fire, and they've looked good here against their big rival.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always that different kind of feel when you have a rivalry game, especially when that's your rival across the net. There's nothing you can do. You want to beat them. That's all that's on your mind tonight. And they're definitely coming out with a little bit of fire, and I like to see that.
Well, and like we said at the beginning, you can throw the records out the window. It doesn't matter that they haven't had a win in conference yet. It wouldn't have mattered if they were 2-3-0 in conference. When you have Grace, and when Grace has Bethel, both of these teams are going to bring everything they have. Both teams have played with a lot of fire, a lot of passion tonight. The Pilots have just been able to execute a little bit better here in the early on. Both teams have had a couple service errors. That really hasn't been it. The Pilots, they've gotten some good blocks at the net, and they've really been hitting it home when they've had the chances to kill a point. So we'll see if that timeout, if Grace can come together and get something going back their way, or if Bethel can just keep this momentum going and finish out this first game. It will be Vegas coming out of the timeout to try to extend this Pilot lead. Kept up. It'll be Zwiedma going cross court. Chance here for Vegas from the back line. Still alive, and they're going to call that one out. That was a fantastic job just to get over there and get that ball, but she ended up hitting it up into the rafters here at Gates Gymnasium.
Yeah, definitely a good effort there by Sierra Smith.
Great serve from Wolfenbarger. Quick set, tipped over. Pilots will have a chance. Haley Brown off block. Kept in the air. It'll be Zwiedma. And Haley Brown and Peyton Anderson almost running into each other there as Haley was trying to get out of the way to let her set it. Then a little miscommunication. No one knew where the ball was at, and that makes it 17-12. Grace Zwiedma on to serve.
Yeah, just mental mistakes right there. You gotta communicate a little better. Gotta get your mind right.
That high toss from Zwiedma. Quick set, block back.
Nice block there by number 13, Tori Bontrager.
Grace was all over that one from Haley Brown, and they've made it a 17-13 game. Free ball for Grace, can't take advantage of it. Here comes Vegas, just gets it over and in. Nobody was up there to help Bontrager, everybody was back. Great hit there from Zoe Wolfenbarger, brings the serve back the Pilots' way, and it'll be Kristen Mitchell.
Definitely great vision there to kind of pick your spots and put it right over the net.
Just tipped over, and Aaron Carlos can't get there. 18-14 Grace. Bontrager on to serve. Peyton Anderson cross court. Cassie Sears a big hit, but just put too much on it. Out of bounds. 18-15 now as Grace just keeps chipping away at what was once a 7-point Pilot lead. But they come back with a service error. Pilots up 4, and Haley Brown on to serve. Smith now off block, just too tall for Wolfenbarger to save. Well, as we sit right now, we're kind of getting in a stretch of the Pilots and the Lancers trading point for point back and forth, which sooner or later that will result in the Pilots taking game 1. So they're not in too bad of a spot right now. You'd like to see them get on a bit of a run, though, as we head into the second game.
Definitely, it's a little stagnant right now, but I think with that point right there, I think we can get some momentum going, get the rally going, and we'll be fine.
That was Carrie Friedema on the kill attempt, and just went a little too long out the back end. Peyton Anderson now on to serve. Set going cross court, kept up. Cassie Sears had to wait back on that one, still got a great hit on it. Here comes Peyton Anderson to Vegas, in the corner. Pilots up 5, 21-16.
Vegas has gone fire tonight.
Well, we said it. She leads this team in kills. She's already up to 90 on the season heading into this match. She's had a handful of them here tonight as Grace uses their final timeout here in this first game. And you might as well use it at this point. Down 5. They did come back with a little more fire out of that last timeout. They weren't able to completely close the gap, but they did get it back down to 2 or 3. And of course, now you need much more than that. The Pilots just 4 points away from taking game 1, and they have the serve.
Yeah, I think definitely you got to keep that focus when you're the Pilots. You got to get in there, keep your mind right, and bring it home.
Well, the big thing for the Pilots so far this season They are 4-9 on the year. When they lose the first game, first set, they are 0-6. So absolutely getting off to that good start, getting that 1-0 lead has been critical for the Pilots this season. And when they haven't gotten it, they have not come back to win. So certainly when you have a 5-point lead this late in a set, you need to keep that lead, take it home, because if you if you give up this kind of a lead to your rival on your home court, you're not going to be feeling good heading into the second set. So Peyton Anderson on to hopefully close this one out for the Pilots. Set there, blocked back, kept alive. Big hit off the top of the net. Anderson going cross court, Cassie Sears. Saved again, they're gonna go quick set back. Free ball for the Pilots, quick set the other way, and it's kept down. Peyton Anderson, there's that vision.
Beautiful little tip there by Peyton.
And you have to not only have the vision and the ability, but the confidence to go after that. As a setter, you're trying to set up your teammates for the big hits, but when you see that open zone, you have to be able to go for it. She did there, got the Pilots a point. Errant pass, and that's an error by Grace. That puts the Pilot lead to 23-16, 2 points away from a victory. And just a little long on the serve was Peyton Anderson, so Grace will get the serve back.
Try to see if Grace can mount a little bit of a comeback here before Bethel closes this one out.
Peyton sets it up, big hit from Cassandra Williams. Kept alive. And into the net goes Wiedma. Pilots now set point.
Katie Easter back to take the serve.
She started the game for the Pilots. We'll see if she can end it for the Pilots. Good serve there. Free ball. Going back and in, and the Pilots have taken the first set from Grace College.
Pilots definitely looking good, especially compared to that game Wednesday night.
Yeah, they ended up losing the first set 25-16 Wednesday night. It was a really tough way to start out for the Pilots. They were only down, I think, 3 when they took a timeout, and they proceeded to give up the final 5 or 6 points of that set. So when you look at that versus how this started tonight for the Pilots, it was close back and forth for a while, 16-13 at one point. And they are able to close out and win 25-17. Certainly a much better start for the Pilots, and that's key in any sport, but especially something like volleyball where you have these breaks between games. You do go back to 0-0, but right now the Pilots certainly feeling like they're playing better, and they can head in with some momentum into game 2.
Definitely, they can get that confidence going into set number 2, knowing you already have the first one under your belt. You've already come through, and you come through on top. So look for the Pilots to come out, start out hot, keep that momentum going, and then try to hopefully take set 2.
Well, as we said, the Pilots looking to get off the schneid in a couple different ways. They have yet to win a conference match or a home match, so they can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here tonight, and they've certainly taken the first step towards doing that. We'll see how this second set goes. Grace will start with the serve, but if the Pilots are playing as well as they did at the end there, it certainly should not be a problem. And I think the biggest thing that I've already seen, the difference between Wednesday night and tonight, is the lack of errors by the Pilots. They are waiting for the other team to make a mistake, and then they are taking advantage of it. That was 2 huge things from Wednesday night. They made many mistakes, and when Taylor made a mistake, the Pilots couldn't take advantage in kind.
Definitely, and more of they're communicating a lot better, which in any sport communication is pretty important, but especially in volleyball. They're always talking. There's always some form of communication. That when you see those breaks in communication, the lack thereof, you see that a couple mental mistakes there from Bethel, but I think they'll kind of rub those out.
And absolutely, to that point, Peyton Anderson, she's doing these quick sets to try to set her teammates up with the best possible shot at a kill, and it is bang, bang, point blank decisions that she has to make, and her teammates have to know where she's going with that ball. And if you're not communicating, if you don't know where that's going to be, you're not going to be in position to get a good hit on it. And so far tonight, every time Peyton Anderson has made a set, aside from that one where she ran into the person she was trying to set it to, that everybody's been right there. Everybody's been right in the right place at the right time to finish off good points for the Pilots. There's been a couple longer rallies that the Pilots have been able to just outlast Grace and take those points. And those are huge when you're talking about going back and forth, trading point for point, and trying to get some momentum. The Pilots were able to get those big moments to go in their favor.
Definitely get those key points in every set. Now let's see if the Pilots can come through and take set 2.
So we start here for the Pilots. It will be the same 6 that were on the floor to start the night. And that is Erin Carlos, Zoe Wolfenbarger, Kristen Mitchell, Peyton Anderson, Katie Easter, and Cassandra Williams. It will be Grace to start things off serving. That is number 4, Caitlin Kerrigan for the Lancers. Big hit there from Kristen Mitchell, kept alive. Coming back the other way. Here come the Pilots. Mitchell's going to try it again off the block. Cross court, Zwiedma goes wide right. Put a little too much behind that one. And the Pilots have the first point of the second set.
Starting to see a little confidence coming out of the Pilots. Little smiling, little messing around. Now they're gonna hopefully get up there, get that second point.
Good serve there by Erin Carlos. Big hit off the top of the net. Erin going back over, and it's blocked back. Nobody was home off of the block, and that will tie things up at 1. Haley Brown goes into the net. It was able to get over. And they call a double hit on Taylor Baird on the set. And that will be a point for the Pilots. Good serve there from Vegas, backing them up. Haley Brown trying to put it home, and she does. Right in the corner. Pilots up 3-1.
They're trying to keep that fire they got from that first set, and it's working out here so far.
Another good serve there from Vegas. Bontrager sends one off of Erin Carlos, bringing it back to a 3-2 game, and it will be Baird on to serve. Set up, Kristen Mitchell just gets it over. Smith now blocks it down and in to tie things up for the Lancers. Haley Brown had to wait back on that one, but she goes off of blocking in, and said this a couple times the other night. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Little miscommunication. She was not ready for that, but was able to hit it off the Grace blockers and get a point and get a serve here for Kristen Mitchell.
Definitely.
Couple of errant passes. It's going to be a free ball for the Pilots. Here comes Peyton Anderson over to Cassie Sears, has to tip it. Tipped back their way, and they tie it up at 4. So Pilots were able to steal a point on that last volley, but right there, Grace just tipping it back towards the Pilots to tie things up.
Yeah, we're getting back to seeing that a little more back and forth like we saw in the first set. Both teams struggling to find a little bit of momentum, get their footing.
Zwiedma just launches it up in the air for her serves. As quite impressive. Smith going towards the back, kept up. Who's got it? Cassie Sears, block back, and that is a Grace point and their first lead here of the second set. Wiedma rockets one to the back row. But Cassie Sears is able to send one back the other way, tying things back up at 5. Substitutions here. Going to be Amanda Brinkman coming into the game for the Pilots. Her first action tonight. In fact, her first action this week. She did not play Wednesday night against Taylor. We'll see what she can do here for the Pilots. Haley Brown on to serve. Peyton Anderson keeping it up. Cassie Sears finding back corner and off of the dig from Sarah Miller. It goes out of bounds and it is back to a Pilot 1-point lead. Great hit there by Cassie. Good serve there by Haley Brown. Quick set, kept up, and no one's home.
Good effort there.
Tying it back up at 6.
Yeah, great effort there by Vegas, hitting the deck, trying to get that over. Just couldn't get it done on that point.
Vegas gets that over. It is a free ball, though, for the Lancers. A bit of miscommunication. Their setter was the first one to touch it. Kept up here. Going over to Cassie. Off the block and in. That found the floor for a Pilot point.
Well done there. Playing a little bit more reactive from the Pilots. Kind of getting where they needed to be. Great point.
Peyton Anderson back serving now as the Pilots lead by 1. Set here, long run, but a great hit from Kara Fredema. She had to go all the way around Taylor Baird, but she got to it and off the block and down to tie this thing up. Serve from Baird. Set up, Cassie Sears. And blocked back at her. That is Amanda Brinkman and Zoe Wolfenbarger sending one right back at Caitlin Kerrigan. Pilots back up by 1. Kept up here, Kerrigan to the back row. Wolfenbarger getting it back over. It's Kristen Mitchell. And a double hit called against the Lancers yet again. It will be Katie Easter to serve. Now with a 2-point Pilot lead and a great serve there. Nothing Grace could do with that one. The Pilots are back to the biggest lead they've had here in this set.
And we got some momentum in their favor now.
Here comes Kerrigan. Big hit kept alive by Easter. A little miscommunication there. Mitchell still able to get it over. Quick set. Coming back, here's Vegas. Big hit, going long, and the Pilots have opened up a 4-point lead, 11-7.
There we go, way to bring it home there with Vegas. That's why she leads the team in kills, folks.
Katie Easter just serves up a knuckleball. That one is out. Was it tipped? They say no. They say it did not catch any of the Pilot block, and that's going to lead to a timeout by Grace as Pilots have opened up their biggest lead of the set at 12-7, 5-point lead. And like you said, it was back and forth there at the beginning, point for point, but the Pilots have gone on a little bit of a run here, 5 in a row for the Pilots to open up this lead.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're getting that fire back into them, and they're getting to it. That timeout's by Grace, seeing if they can kind of get their traction back. They kind of got knocked down a little bit, but let's see if they can get back up coming out of this timeout.
Well, I am not sure what went on in that timeout for Grace, but it was a very one-way conversation, a very quick conversation. They get a minute 15 if they call a timeout, and that talk from head coach Katie Von Hofwegen did not last more than 20 seconds. But we will see if that works, if that gets her girls fired back up as they are ready to sub in number 20, Grace Woosley, her first action of the night. It will still be Katie Easter serving for the Pilots. Katie just sends one over. Bit of a miss hit there, kept alive, but the Pilots can't get to it. So Grace, a much needed point, and they get the serve back, down 12-8.
Whatever Coach Van Hofwegen said to him in that 20 seconds, really resonated with them. Let's see how they can answer.
Number 4, Caitlin Kerrigan, to serve here for the Lancers. Set up, and Amanda Brinkman can't keep it in. Going wide left there. Back to a 3-point game.
Just a little too much on there for the senior.
And Carlos going over to Kristen Mitchell, and she can't keep control of it. She tried to go on her left side right down the line and could not keep it in. 2-point game, 3 straight points after that Grace timeout. Errant hit and make it 4 straight points for Grace. And a timeout coming for the Pilots. And you see coming off the bench, Coach Rochelle Wiegand and team leader Haley Brown both saying, let's take a breather, let's calm down a bit, because the Pilots were up 5, had everything going their way. Grace called a timeout, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game.
Definitely, whatever Coach Van Hofwegen said that last time out really resonated with her girls. They were coming out with that fire. They got that momentum back. See how the Pilots can respond now.
Grace keeps up the tradition of not taking much time during these timeouts. They were back out there again in under 30 seconds, but Coach Wiegand absolutely going to take all of the time allotted to her in this timeout to try to get her girls headed back in the right direction. They still have a 1-point lead, so I think a good timeout there by Coach Wiegand to have a talk with her girls before this starts to get back going Grace's way too much. It will still be Caitlin Kerrigan serving. Going over to Kristen Mitchell. Here comes Swedma. She's going to try to go long. She goes too long. Pilots are back on the scoreboard there, ending a 4-0 Grace run.
And then back in comes Haley Brown on the substitution too, so she could help with blocking there.
Gonna go over, and great hit there. That's Kara Fredema. She mishit her first one. That's 3 in a row now that she has put home for Grace. Back to a 1-point game, and it is Kaylee Teal on to serve. Haley Brown coming over off the block, and that's a Pilot point.
There we go from Haley Brown. That was really well done.
Kept up now. Here comes Wiedma. She goes off the net and down. Pilots didn't even have to block that one. Back up to a 3-point lead, 15-12 here in set number 2. Pilots took the first set 25-17. A win here would put them in a dominating 2-0 lead. Here comes Wiedma tipping it over, kept up. It's going to be Kristen Mitchell. Just wide. She tried to go cross court. It will be Taylor Baird. Haley Brown off the block and a Pilot point coming up. Good hustle there by all of the Lancers, but they just couldn't get it back going in the right direction. They kept hitting it farther and farther out of bounds. And the Pilots have a 16-13 lead with Kristen Mitchell serving. Very close to the net off that pass. And I believe they're going to call a net violation there against Caitlin Kerrigan. And that will put the Pilots up 17-13 now here in set number 2. Another errant pass. Kerrigan going to hit it over. Here comes Haley Brown, and she kills it.
Haley Brown emphatically bringing that one home. Had some heat on it.
Well, the Pilots were up 5 earlier in this set. Grace brought it back to within 1. They have regained that lead coming down the stretch here, 18-13.
Definitely got some traction under him now. Getting that momentum.
Then an awkward hit there from Teal. Wasn't sure what she wanted to do with it. Just kept up, and Aaron Carlos, Cassie Sears coming together on that one. Not able to get it to a teammate. Makes it 18-14.
More miscommunication from the Pilots. Just got to iron those little details out.
Big serve there from Zwiedma. Quick set to the corner, and nobody's home.
There it is again from Peyton Anderson. That vision to see the open spot in the court and the accuracy to be able to get it right into that spot.
And a timeout by Grace. We'll see how long this one lasts, as it is their final timeout here in this second set, trailing 19-14, and you're getting to that point where you really can't afford to give up too much more before you go on a run. We'll see here how both teams come out of this timeout as Coach Rochelle Wiegand talks to her girls, and that one probably the most time that Grace has taken in a timeout, but they certainly need it here as they trail 19-14 coming down the stretch.
Definitely. And Coach Wiegand down there trying to keep everybody set, keeping everybody calm, trying to bring this one home to that commanding 2-0 lead.
Be Haley Brown still serving for the Pilots. We have an official having a discussion with the scorers table, trying to iron some scoring things out. We have a little bit of a delay here. It seems that everything is good to go. Haley Brown going over to Kerrigan. Big hit, good block there by the Pilots. Set up, Haley Brown from the back row. That's kept alive off one blocker. Anderson trying to go wide to Cassie Sears. She just has to tip it over. Here comes Smith. Another big hit. Somehow saved, and she just couldn't get it on the line. Good vision there by Teal to let that one drop.
Great effort there on that rally by the Pilots.
As Grace subs in Tori Bontrager to serve. Going over Cassie Sears, good hit. Quick set off the block. Peyton Anderson trying to find that back corner. Kerrigan was able just to get to it, but she could not get it up, and that will be a point for the Pilots. Sorry, that was Bontrager that was able to get to that one. 20 to 15, Peyton Anderson on to serve. Set up, and that goes wide. Good job there, Aaron Carlos, letting that one go by. Pilots 6-point lead, their biggest of the night. Good chance for the Pilots here. Set up, Brinkman kept alive, but that one's headed into the crowd. Pilots up 22 to 15 and really feeling it here tonight.
Oh yeah, they're definitely getting it together, and they're looking like they have all the momentum in their favor right now. They are a train moving right now.
Set up, Smith off block, and that'll get Grace back in the scoring column. It'll get the serve back their way. It'll be number 12, Alexa Hill, the freshman out of Huntington, on to serve for the Lancers. Wolfenbarger just can't sneak it in. She had that open corner, but put a little too much on it. Peyton Anderson going over. Cassie Sears off the top of the net. Here comes Kerrigan, and that is going to be a double hit. Bard has gotten called on that a handful of times tonight, trying to set up her teammates. And that one puts the Pilots in a commanding 23-17 lead, 2 points from a 2-0 lead here tonight. And Katie Easter just pulls that one right into the net.
First mental mistake we've seen in a while from the Pilots. Let's see if they can bounce back and get this serve back and bring this one home.
It will be Caitlin Kerrigan. Wolfenbarger, and that one looked like a bit of a mental mistake from Kerrigan. Looked like that one was going to go out. She goes after it, can't get a good hit up, and it puts the Pilots at set point, 24-18. And Aaron Carlos serves one into the net to give Grace some life. And it is now all in the hands of Kaylee Teal. She has to put together at least a 5-0 run here on the serve. Set up, it's Haley Brown for the win. Blocked back, Aaron Carlos off the net. 24-20.
Grace starting to feel it a little bit, starting to chip away at that lead, down to 4 points now.
Can the Pilots put it away here? Errant pass from Vegas, no they can't. 24-21, Grace with some fight in them here at the end, and that's going to be a timeout by Coach Rochelle Wiegand. And a good timeout at that. You have it, you might as well use it, because right now the Pilots are starting to crumble here down the stretch. They need to just get one more point to get this thing to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, definitely looking like they're starting to get back to those little mentioned mistakes and starting to get that little back and forth game going that they were getting earlier with Grace, and they can't let them hang around. They got to get that set point, get that 2-0.
Well, we talked about momentum and how important momentum can be, and right now Grace has it. So if you're the Pilots, just as much to win this set as anything, but right now you don't want to go into the third set feeling like you're not playing your best game. So certainly right now the Pilots, hopefully out of this timeout, can take this point, get to the intermission. Peyton Anderson setting up Kristen Mitchell. Off the block and up. Taylor Bard blocked away, and the Pilots have taken it. 25-21, huge block there from Haley Brown and Kristen Mitchell. And we will head to the intermission. Pilots a commanding 2-0 lead here against rival Grayson. Andrew, they gave up a couple points there down the stretch of that second set, but they have played wonderfully tonight.
Definitely, they kind of got that little back and forth going for a while. They had some mental mistakes, but all in all, came out with the second set 2-0 win. See if they can get out of the intermission and bring this one home.
Well, they've been leading 2-0 3 different times this season. They are 2-1 in those games, and we will see if they can make it 3-1 here tonight. Certainly have a great chance to do that because they are playing fantastic volleyball tonight. It's night and day from if you joined us on Wednesday night from the team that was playing then to the team that's playing now. And talking to a couple of players after that game, they felt as if they just iron out a couple of their errors, a couple of their mistakes. They win that game Wednesday night. Well, can't do anything about that, but you can do something moving forward. And it seems like they have so far here, as again, they have played probably their best volleyball of the season here early on.
So, yeah, definitely. And it definitely, when you're playing that rival, it brings the best out of you, that competitive spirit. And when you're coming home, think about the situation here. You're 0-2 going into it in Crossroads League play. You got to get that first win. And there's no one you want to beat more than your rival, more than Grace. And Rachel Wiegand wants to get that first home win, first Crossroads League win, try to get the momentum going for the rest of the season and put it together. And this is a great way to do it, and they're getting a lot better play, a lot of better communication out of her team tonight.
Well, speaking of head coach Wiegand, we had an opportunity to sit down and talk to her about her new position here as the head volleyball coach at Bethel. We have that interview for you now.
Right now, I've got a team of just quality young women who come into the practice gym every day wanting to get better. They've set some high goals for themselves to finish in the top of the conference. Right now, our record might not reflect that, as we've just been through some transition, new coaching staff. So for us, it's just about getting better every single day. And one thing we've talked about with them is just looking for progress rather than perfection, not worrying so much about outcome, but the process. And every day, just looking as an opportunity to give it their all and do everything for the Lord. Yeah, it's just they're motivated. They want to get better. Some of my players are asking all the time to come in for quality repetition, to come in and get extra time in the gym. And those are things that you can't force your team to do, and it's just a drive and a will to want to be the best they can be. And so, yeah, just a great group. I love working with them. At the beginning of the season, the team said that they want to win a conference championship, and I think they've realized that they have got to put in the work to be able to do that, and to have that mentality that it's not going to be easy to get there, and they have to be willing to sacrifice and put in that extra time. Well, I'll right now just talk about a little bit what we're trying to get better at. There'll be times when we're up in a match and we kind of just take a deep breath and say, oh, we're winning. And then we allow teams to kind of just be able to believe that they can come back and win. And so us really just, when we get up, stay up and keep the pressure on and finish out a set. Knowing how to just put the pressure on all the time rather than relaxing and allowing a team to think that they can come back. So just a little bit of that fight to stay up all the time and to push through a set. So that's an area that we're definitely working on. I will say when we're down, one thing that's a strength for us is we never give up. The inner fight with this team is just unbelievable. There's been sets where we're down 5, 6, 7 points, come back to win the set. They're relentless, they're resilient. And that's something they got to have. It's all about the choice that they make in the heart, and seeing them work together as a team, like, that's really special and something I'm proud of when I see them. Of course, I don't want to ever get put in that situation, and that's something we're working on, that consistency part of it. But yeah, that's definitely a strength that they never give up. We're a small squad in comparison to a lot of other programs. I have 12 on my roster. And so we talk about how important it is for every single player to bring it their best, because this is all we've got. We're only as good as our weakest link. And we need everybody to play their best for us to be successful. And but as far as like personality-wise, we're kind of across the board. We've got some players who are just, when they're on the court, they're very just kind of loosey-goosey. They like to joke, they like to have fun. And then we have others that are just very serious. So I think they're learning how to work with that different dynamics on the court, how to motivate each other. I think as a coaching staff, we're still learning that too. How do some players respond if I get in their face versus like maybe they just need some reassurance, that type of thing. So it's still a big learning process for us right now. I have two captains, my starting setter, Peyton Anderson and Zoe Wolfenberger, and they both bring very different leadership qualities. Peyton is very calm, relaxed. She's that consistency piece for us, and she runs our offense very well, and I think the team looks to her for that consistency. And then Zoe, she's an attacker, a right side / outside attacker, and she really she's that fireball. She just plays all out. I think the team looks to her for like confidence, and also they look to her to just be like, everything's going to be okay, and just to play all out. She's a go-getter out there on the court, and I think she leads by example in that way and just motivates our younger players to be fearless out there. And so, you know, they're a great duo because they balance each other out so well, and you need both for the team to be successful. So they've done a great job so far this season. I'm going to continue to look to them to lead this team. We are on the younger side. We have 2 seniors. And so we're a little bit younger, and but the team hasn't used that as a reason to not be great.
Giving us a good insight into how the Pilots are looking this year. It's always tough to come into a regime, especially at the college level. These aren't players that you've recruited. These aren't players that you've spent time with, and you know, so far in her first season, they are 4-9, so some struggles, but they've certainly played well tonight, and you would have to think that as a new coach gets their system in place and they start getting some better chemistry throughout the whole team, they can start improving and playing a lot better.
Definitely, and when you come in for your first season, I think your first option is to win over the seniors, get the upperclassmen on your side. That way you can kind of help get the team to buy into your system and that it works.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just it's really good to see the girls come out tonight and play with a lot of heart against their biggest rival, and certainly play with a lot more chemistry than they did on Wednesday night, because on Wednesday night it did seem pretty disjointed at times, and they weren't really communicating well. Has some very fixable errors, and so far tonight they fixed those errors, so it's been really good. And of course, if you're just joining us here on the Bethel Sports Network, it's Ethan Klein here with Andrew Boyer, and the Pilots off to a commanding 2-0 lead tonight. If they come out and win this third set, they win the whole thing, and everybody gets to go home happy, and hopefully that's what they see. But if Grace is able to win the third set, we'll go to a fourth, and if they're able to win that, then we'll go to a fifth. However short or long this goes the rest of the night, we'll have it all here for you on Bethel Sports Network. And Andrew, we've been talking about it, but really I think the big thing has been the lack of errors on Bethel's side.
Definitely, all those errors that you saw Wednesday night's over with. They've put it behind them, and they've come together as a team and said, hey, we got to get this together, get it all squared away, and they have, and they've communicated well. They really want it. They want to beat the Lancers, and they want to get that first win for Coach Wiegand and that first Crossroads League win. Because right now the Pilots and the Lancers both scraping the bottom of the barrel in this conference in the Crossroads League standings. And
well, you said something key, putting it behind you. The Pilots still have a good 2 months worth of a season left to go, and that is a lot of volleyball still left to play. You got to put everything out of your mind, really, so far of the season that really matters. You've played 2 games, essentially, and that's your conference season. You really want to set yourself up to maybe at least try to get a home game in the conference tournament, The way things work in the Crossroads League, of course, is the bottom 2 teams don't make it into the tournament. So if you're in that top 4, you get to at least host one home game. And, at this point, you're 0-2. The best teams in the league are 2-0. You're only 2 games out of it. It's very early on. If you can get some momentum, get a win here against Grace, start moving forward, you certainly have an opportunity to do some things as a team and get to where you want to be. And we'll see if they're able to take that next step forward here as we start the 3rd set. It will be the Pilots with the serve, up 2-0, trying to put this thing away in 3 sets.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure the Pilots like to get home a little early tonight, get back to the dorms, and put this one away. And one thing you touched on, it's early. There's a lot more putting together that they have to do and a lot more improvement that goes into the rest of the season. So getting this win tonight against your rival and getting a little bit of traction, it's a long season ahead of them. It's a muddy just crawl. And getting that traction underneath you and getting that forward movement is everything you need, and it's all important.
Again, if you're just joining us, Pilots were able to take the first set 25-17. They took the second set 25-21. And they will start this 3rd set with Katie Easter serving. She's been very good on the serve tonight, except for just one service error that she put in the net. But other than that, she's been fantastic, hitting her spots with some good pace on those serves. She'll be back there for the Pilots. Also on the floor will be Peyton Anderson, Erin Carlos, Cassandra Williams, Zoe Wolfenbarger, and Kristen Mitchell. So we will see. The Pilots certainly came out with a lot of life here, feeling good, up 2-0, and we'll see what kind of response the Lancers have, as it is Katie Easter to get us underway. And another good serve there from Easter. Quick set over, and nobody home for the Pilots as Grace gets the first point here of the 3rd set.
Just mistimed the jump there, did the Bethel front line.
Serve there from Teal. Quick set. Sandra Williams trying to go long. Saved. Just got to get it over. Set up. Here comes Mitch. And just off the side of her hand. Mishit there.
Just notice after that point, Kristen Mitchell, she just went over to her huddle. She took a deep breath and just said, we got this. They're going to move forward. I think they're going to be all right.
Here comes Teal. And off the block, Pilots will get another chance. Here comes Grace. It's Wiedma. They block her out of bounds. And it will be a 3-0 start for the Lancers. Peyton Anderson tries to go quick set, hits the top of the net. Vegas had a free shot. Teal saved it. Here comes Wiedma. That goes back across the net and is in.
Like you said earlier, sometimes it's better to just be lucky than
Well, Taylor
good.
Bard was ready to let that one go out, and she stood where she was at and got hit by the ball. We'll see if Pilots can take advantage of that mental error there. Erin Carlos, good serve. Free ball for the Pilots. Here comes Peyton Anderson. Who's she going to give it to? It'll be Haley Brown. Back comes Wiedma off block. Somehow kept alive. And Kristen Mitchell goes into the net. She'll have to work that out in a hurry. She made a fantastic play just to keep it alive. And then when she tried to get it back over, went into the net, and she is going to take a seat. She is not going to take a seat. The official says they will not be subbing in right now. They're trying to get sophomore Britton Carnahan in the game. And Vegas makes it not matter as she goes to the corner right on the line, 4-2. And now Carnahan will come in for Kristen Mitchell.
Just want to point out how much fire that Grace front line came out with in this 3rd set.
Here is Vegas. Peyton Anderson setting up Haley Brown. It's blocked back to him. No chance for the Pilots, and Peyton finds the corner. 3-4 Lancer lead.
Here's that vision again. We've been talking about it all night from Peyton Anderson, getting those quick sets over, finding those open zones.
Here's the Pilot serve. And for any of you at home wondering why we keep referring to Zoe Wolfenbarger as Vegas, that's her nickname on the team, and it is simply because, as she has the service error, she's from Las Vegas. We keep it real simple with the nicknames around here. Not too many people you run into in Mishawaka are from that area, so pretty easy to come by that nickname, as she did give the point and the serve back to the Lancers, and it'll be Zwiedma. Big shot on her serve. Carnahan, her first hit, blocked up. They'll get another chance. Peyton Anderson's going to go over. Here's Smith off the top of the net. Another chance for the Pilots. It's going to be Vegas from the back line. She's going to try to find the middle, and she does.
That was great there by Vegas. Leads the team in kills, and plays like that is why.
You may not be able to tell at home. It may seem like everybody's pretty close together, but when you are standing far back waiting for one of these girls to just hammer a kill home, and they just tip it to the middle of the zone, that is a long run to get there. When you have that ability to drop it in these open zones, that is really a difference maker, as Zoe has done that a few times tonight. Cross court hit there from Kerrigan. Going to go over to Cassie Sears off the block and up. Barred the set to Smith, a little wide. What a hit! And the Pilots just can't keep it alive. It's a great dig from Wolfenbarger.
Yeah, way to hit the floor there by Vegas there. Just couldn't get it back over the net.
2-point lead now in the third set for Grace. Big hit from Cassie Sears. Can Bard get there? She can. It's Kerrigan. Peyton Anderson going back to Vegas. And that's going to be out of play. Pilots down 1. Remember, if the Pilots win this one, we all go home. If Grace wins it, we will head to a 4th set.
Sandra Williams back out on that front line for the Pilots.
Lily Brown serving, and that's going to be an ace.
There we go. That's more like she was looking like on Wednesday against Taylor.
Sarah Miller tried to dig that one, but she went wide with it. No one could get to it, and the Pilots have tied it up. And they are going to call a net violation on Cassie Sears. So that will put Grace back in the lead. And subbing in is number 12, Alexa Hill, to serve. Peyton Anderson looking to set up Cassandra Williams. She just punches it over off the net, kept alive. Free ball for the Pilots. They're going to go over. Cassie Sears coming with a lot of force, but she goes wide left. Peyton Anderson going to try to go to that corner. Teal's all over it. The girls meet at the net. Pilots have a chance. Off the net, and point to the Pilots. That was never blocked. It was hit into the net, and it is a 7-8 Grace lead with Peyton Anderson serving. Babe now going over. Kristen Mitchell keeps it up. Peyton Anderson to Vegas, off the block and down. Tying things up for the Pilots. We'll see if Peyton Anderson can give them a lead.
Vegas coming off at that point, had a little bit of fire.
And blocked back at him. That is Cassandra Williams and Cassie Sears. Pilots up 1.
Definitely something that you see. Cassandra Williams leads the team in blocks, and that's why, again, that tall body up there and blocking and knocking back right over the net.
Set up here, Kerrigan, huge hit. Taking some frustration out with that one. Ties things back up at 9. She's going to go back to serve.
Starting to see a little trend coming through here, that back and forth we've been seeing all game long. Both teams trying to find those spots, getting that momentum. So you can come out with this in this tie.
Kept up. Kristen Mitchell, free ball for the Lancers. It's going to be Zwiedma, and she goes wide. Put too much on it.
Great vision there from Erin Carlos. She was thinking about going at it. Rightly got out of the way. Well played by Carlos.
And just can't get that one over. Katie Easter tried to sneak one to the front line, and that ties things back up at 10.
Kaylee Teal back to serve for the Lancers.
Big hit from Vegas. Somehow that gets back over. Kristen Mitchell now. That one's kept up. Zwiedma going in for the point. And I'll tell you what, that hit that Vegas had, Alexa Hill didn't save it. It just went off of Alexa Hill and back to the Pilot side. That was just self-defense that she managed to keep in bounds.
Definitely saw a little smoke coming off of that one. That had some heat.
It is a 1-point Grace lead here in the third set as they try to force a fourth set. Peyton throwing back over to Mitch. Great save there. Kept up off the block. Pilots will have a chance. Peyton Anderson setting up Amanda Brinkman as she goes right into the net.
The Lancers definitely proving here they're not done yet. They're not intimidated by this, by being down 2-0. Trying to get that set, get that momentum ahead of them, and move on and try to force a fourth.
There's Teal, 2-point lead, and Zoe, nice touch. Good save there by Kerrigan. And that is going to be 4 hits, I believe. Pilots not happy with that call, and a timeout coming from Coach Rochelle Wiegand. From up here, it looked like that caught a lot of net, and that's what the official saw, and it will result in Grace taking a 13-10 lead. Again, if they win this set, we'll play at least a fourth set. If the Pilots are able to come out of this timeout with some fire, then and win this set, then the night will be over. As we see Coach Wiegand's assistant, Katie Weiss, handling most of the talking during that timeout, hopefully firing up the Lady Pilots.
Right, definitely getting that fire back into them, getting it to your impact players, getting Vegas out there to really bring those points home, calm down, get some traction under them, close the gap, and come out on top.
Vegas! That's what we were talking about, coming back with some fire. She powers one home off the block. 2-point game, and it will be Erin Carlos to serve as she comes in, as does Haley Brown. And Erin Carlos goes into the net. Back to a 3-point Lancer lead.
Just those little things that are creeping up on the Pilots right now. Try to get them ironed out and bring this one home.
Somehow Peyton Anderson just tips that over, but they call a over the net. 4-point Grace lead. That's the biggest lead they've had in any set tonight. 15-11. Taylor Bard trying to add on to it.
Definitely, they're definitely.
And Kristen Mitchell goes long. And Kristen Mitchell has struggled here in the third set. And they are going to bring back in Britton Carnahan. Try to get this going in the right direction. 16-11 right now.
if the Pilots don't get going, we'll be looking at a fourth set. Comes Haley Brown, and that's the direction they need to be headed. 16-12 now.
Definitely chipping away that lead, trying to close the gap. Really minimize those mental mistakes, do everything that you were doing right before to get back to those in the first two sets, back to that fire that you were catching.
And some miscommunication there early on. We had some Lansford players on the floor, but ends up working out as it goes off of the Pilot block and out of bounds. We stopped to get some moisture off the floor. That is what I'm assuming caused the fall there as that serve was coming over from the Pilots. And it will be Kelsey Sweedma. Vegas able to keep that one in. Peyton Anderson going cross court. Free ball. Here comes Anderson again. She's going to get it over. Bard to Smith. And she goes wide. Oh, they say it was on the line.
Lansford's definitely proven they're not done yet. They got some fire under them. They got all the momentum right now. Pilots are reeling. We got to get back into it, take a little deep breath, and start chipping away at this lead.
Here comes Vegas. She goes to the back row, set up. Here's Kerrigan. Big hit off the hands of Katie Easter, and the Lancers are feeling it. And Coach Rochelle Wiegand is not happy as she calls that timeout. She sends everybody over to the bench, and she is letting her girls have it right now in this timeout. Right now she's saying, I don't understand, and it is a bit shocking how well the Pilots played those first two sets, and they have been pretty flat here in the third set with a chance to sweep their big rival on their home floor. So we will see right here, down 19-12. It would be a pretty big comeback at this point to win this third set, but you can certainly, as we've said, get some momentum for yourself. Start playing much better because you certainly don't want to lose this set going to the fourth set playing as you are right now.
Definitely, and if you see if Coach Wiegand can get that fire light under her girls.
Big hit there from Sweden. Let's see if the Pilots can put it away. Blocked right back at him, but out of bounds. Good hit there from Haley Brown. So the Pilots back in the scoring column, 13-19, and they have their best serving weapon in Zoe. It was not actually going to be Zoe Wolfenbarger's serve. She's back row. It's Kristen Mitchell on to serve instead. Almost goes wide. It's going to be a free ball for the Pilots off the serve. Peyton Anderson setting up Haley Brown, and she puts it away. Two huge hits from Haley Brown out of that timeout.
A little bit of life coming from Haley Brown. Both spikes coming into that back corner. I think that's what Coach Wiegand was looking for out of her girls.
Well, and there's a quick timeout from Coach Van Hofwagen as she sees the Pilots have plenty of fire. And more than anything, this may be just to calm down the Pilots and get things back going her team's way. We will see. They do have a 19-14 lead. Again, still a lot of work left to do, but those first 2 points after the Pilot timeout seemed much better than any 2 points have this entire third set.
Oh yeah, they've kind of settled down. They've kind of, Grace came out on fire there in that last couple of points, but Bethel really came out of their timeout, calmed down, said, hey, we're up 2-0. We got this. This is nothing. They came forward and really brought it home.
We'll see what Kristen Mitchell has in store for the Lancers when they come back out of this timeout. Once again, Grace calling a timeout, and Bethel spending much more time in the huddle, but they have every right to do that. Back come the Pilots again. Grace holds on to this lead and wins this one, we will play a fourth set. If the Pilots mount this comeback, they will sweep the Lancers and get their first victory in conference this season.
Now go to the field to come against Grace.
Kept up. Here's Smith, and she goes long.
You can definitely feel it in here. Momentum starting to shift over in the Pilots' direction.
Well, that's 3 in a row for the Pilots. We saw this at the end of the second set. Bethel had a huge lead, and Grace started to get back into it. Bethel was able to come together, finish that set. Can Grace do the same? Kerrigan tips it over. That's a free ball for the Pilots. Can they take advantage? Cassie Sears, big hit. Down the line and out. Had a great chance there. But it's back to a 5-point Grace lead, 22-15.
Too many of those little mental mistakes from Bethel in this set.
Free ball and a mistake. As Caitlin Kerrigan and Carrie Fredema both went up, nobody talked, and what would have just been essentially a free point goes into the net, and it's 16-20, Haley Brown to serve.
That point is definitely a blessing for the Pilots.
Here comes Haley. Serve kept up. It's Kerrigan. Big hit and out of bounds. Good job there by Bethel's blockers to just get out of the way of that one. Kerrigan was trying to drive it home. Went a little too long, 17-20.
Sense a little bit of frustration mounting over on that Grace side.
Here comes Smith, block back at her and in! And all of a sudden it's a 2-point game. So that timeout from Coach Wiegand, what a timeout it was. It was a one-way conversation, it was a heated conversation, but it has worked.
Definitely, and that was on the block, it was Cassandra Williams, and that right there is why she leads the team in blocks. Getting that big body up, and that tall body up, and just getting it back over.
Kerrigan, big hit, kept alive by Haley Brown. Miscommunication from Grace, it's gonna be a free ball. Here comes Peyton to Cassandra, can't keep it in, but it's out of bounds. 1-point game.
Bethel coming back with that fire now. Look at him walking around. They got some confidence.
That's Grace's last time out.
Bethel's got all that fire right now. They're playing with a little bit more swagger now.
What a run by the Pilots. This set looked all but over. They were down 18-12 and not playing well at all. A timeout from Coach Wiegand, and they have come out with a lot of fire. They are down just 1 with the serve.
And I'm sure it's a much different conversation from Coach Wiegand now. A lot of fire, a lot of intensity coming out of that last one. Now it's calm down, you got it, you keep going, keep that fire up. Bring it home and get this comeback, close it out. They really X'd out the mental mistakes. They really came together as a team, communicated well, and the effort's showing. Now it's 2019.
Here's Haley Brown. Can she tie things up for the Pilots? Big serve, top of the net. Friedma, it's saved by Brown, but it's going to be a free ball for the Lancers. Set was a little off. Here comes Peyton Anderson, Cassandra Williams, and the Pilots have tied it.
There we go, look at that.
What a run by the Pilots. It's 20-20.
All the momentum's in the Pilots' favor, and Grace is out of timeouts.
Folks, we played at 25. You've got to win by 2. And just like that, Haley Brown serves a little long, maybe adrenaline getting to her there. But she did her job and then some, getting the Pilots back in this one. She had the 2 big kills coming out of the initial timeout. She just went on a great run serving there. We'll see if her teammates can pick her up, down 1. Peyton Anderson, Cassandra Williams, that'll find the zone. 21 all.
Great job by Cassandra there, finding that little zone on the court there. Like you said a little bit earlier, it's how to give and take when you're hitting those little zones. It's a lot more space than you would think.
And Just tipped over, and it falls in between Cassie Sears and Peyton Anderson. So Grace goes back up by 1. Again, if they win, we'll play a 4th set. If Bethel really completes this comeback and wins this set, they'll sweep. You have to win by 2. Peyton Anderson, Cassandra Williams, why not? She's been feeling it as well. Ever since that timeout, we're tied at 22, and it's Katie Easter who's been fantastic on the serve tonight.
Let's see if we can bring it home now. Cassandra Williams is feeling it.
And that is off the block, out of bounds. Point to Grace. They are up 23 to 22.
Like I said before, they do need to win by 2, so far from over for the Pilots.
Kept alive, quick set, and just couldn't get it up. And that will be set point for Grace. Pilots have to win at least these next 2 points to keep this thing going from a 4th set. There's a serve by Teal. Kept up. Can Mitch put it away? She does! She has struggled here in this 3rd set, but when they needed her to have her best hit of the night, she does. And the Pilots are still alive. It's Erin Carlos. Have to get this point.
Haley Brown back on the court for the Pilots too. She's had some big points in this rally coming up.
And kept alive. Gotten over. Free ball. Still alive. It's Kristen Mitchell. Big hit out of bounds, and the Pilots have tied it again. What a set. You would think this was the 5th set. This is a chance for the Pilots to sweep. But that's what it is when 2 big rivals face off. A lot of heart, a lot of passion. And we've seen it the most here in this 3rd set. Again, you have to win by 2. It's no longer to 25 points. Just keeping it in. Vegas has got to go over. It's Wiedma.
Got that big
Kept
set
alive. Great play. It's Erin Carlos again. Free ball. It'll be Wiedma. Off the block, out of bounds. Match set point here for Baird.
See how the Pilots can respond, see if they can keep that fire going. Definitely got that big set feel coming up here.
Baird goes cross court, set up, Haley Brown to keep it alive. And I thought that got tipped. It did not. It's out of bounds, and we will head to a 4th set. We touched on it, though, during the initial timeout when Bethel was down 18 to 12. We said, if anything, you need momentum going into the 4th set if you have to. And I would say they've certainly done that. They came back, got this thing. They do end up losing set number 3, 26 to 24. But I would say absolutely the latter half of that set, Bethel played better volleyball.
Oh, definitely. They came through, and they can now go into that 2nd set instead of, 18 to 12 is what they were at. They mounted a little bit of comeback. There was a rally there. They had some heart. Emotion came out. So now they can take that emotion from the end of that last set, get into this next 4th set, and bring it home. And the sweep is gone, but it still will feel really, really good to get that first win in Crossroads play, and even better to know that the Lancers are 0-3 going in.
And to go into this and think that you would have gotten a sweep would have been pretty shocking based on the fact that it is your big rival. So any victory you will take, and certainly right now I'd have to think momentum going in the favor of the Pilots, because they certainly got this crowd involved in the latter part of that 3rd set. You'd think they'd still have them involved to start the 4th set with a chance to come away with their first conference, first home victory of the season.
Definitely keeping the crowd energy up. It's a home field advantage.
I just want to let everybody know we're going to take a little break here on the Bethel Sports Network after this game, but we will be back on Wednesday, October 5th, as the Pilots bring in conference foe Huntington. And then that Friday night, October 7th, we will be facing Davenport. I apologize, folks. I read our schedule wrong here. We're not taking that long of a break. we're not taking a month off. We're just taking a couple weeks off. We will actually be back for another huge rivalry match on Friday, September 23rd against Indiana Wesleyan. That will be at 7 o'clock. And then the very next day, Saturday the 24th at 2 o'clock, we will face Mount Vernon Nazarene. So your 2 home matches in a row are against easily your 2 biggest rivals. Here tonight against Grace, which hopefully you can get a win. And then, of course, IWU. We said this Wednesday night, but we say this in every sport. Your conference leaders, Indiana Wesleyan. They're 2-0 in the conference, 11-1 on the season. They're ranked 23rd in the country. What a huge match that would be if Bethel could go take that one. But got to focus on this match here tonight as they need to close this thing out. Now, if Grace does come out and win the 4th set, we will go to a 5th and final set. That will be played to 15, of course, the same win by 2 rules. Hopefully we do not have to get to that point, and the Pilots can take care of business here.
Definitely, and like we touched on before, they came through. We got a little more fire going into them. Now we're in the 4th set. See if Coach Wiegand could fire them up a little bit. Say, hey, there's no sweep now, but keep your heads on your shoulders and come out and bring this one home. You guys can still get it.
Well, it's Kerrigan starting things off for Grace, and Cassandra Williams just kind of throwing it to the back corner, but it gets the job done.
Cassandra Williams really coming alive. Both that switch there, Haley Brown and Cassandra Williams really stepping up to the plate in the next, toward the end of last set and the beginning of this set.
Well, when Coach Wiegand tried to light a fire under her team, those were certainly the 2 that came out with the most emotion out of that timeout. Haley Brown and Cassandra Williams leading that comeback in the 3rd set, and just a miss hit there by Zoe Wolfenbarger, just kind of popped it up to herself to tie this up at 1 and give the serve back to Kaylee Teal. That time a good pass from Zoe and a great block. Wow, Taylor Bard. You will not see that too often, one-on-one, and she sends it straight down from Kristen Mitchell. 2-1 Grace lead. Haley Brown off the block, straight up. And second time works out for Haley. She goes through the block for the kill, 2-2.
Once again, it seems like we've said this a lot. Way to bring it home now for Haley Brown. Vegas back to serve.
And what a shot from Zwiedma. Vegas went down to go get it, but she really did not have a shot to save that one, and it's 3-2.
And that one had a lot of heat on it. And that moisture off the court now.
When we get back to the action, it will be Taylor Bard to serve for Grace, with the Lancers up 3-2 here, set 4. Pilots a 2-1 lead on the night. Peyton Anderson setting up Haley Brown. She's trying to go to the back corner and just a little long. Walks away saying, I'm good, I'll be okay. And she will most certainly get another chance, maybe, on this next point.
That's something you've been seeing a little bit more.
And that's
recently.
a quick set. Fantastic set there by Peyton Anderson, just passing it to that open zone.
Well done there. Like we were saying, after every little mental mistake we've seen recently out of Bethel, all the little things are coming out. I'm good, I'm okay. That miss hit by Vegas, right there by Haley Brown. They're bouncing back, it's all right.
And kept up. And that is going to be, I believe, a net violation against Grace, tying things up for the Pilots. And a big hit there from number 13, Tori Bontrager, to put Grace back up by 1. into the net goes Wiedma. She has been bombing them home all night from the serve, but she couldn't get that one over, and it ties it back up at 5, and it will be Haley Brown, who went on that great run at the end of set number 3. We'll see if she can pick up where she left off. Sandra Williams finds the back corner open. We've said it plenty of times, it's not always about just smoking them. When you have a chance to kill them, it's about finding the right spot, and she did right there.
Definitely, she's a sophomore, and it's really nice to see from her. Picking those spots and having the accuracy to get to those zones.
And that's going to be a point for Bethel, an errant pass and made for a tough set by Taylor Bard. 2-point Pilot lead. And what a shot there from Sierra Smith. Haley Brown had no time to react to that one as it goes off of her and out of bounds. Pilots still up 7-6. Serve there from Bontrager. Set up Cassandra Williams off the block, kept alive. Peyton Anderson going for that quick set again. Tipped over. Cassie Sears. Good rally here. Who's going to get the point? It's going to be the Lancers and Sierra Smith. Smoking one home.
That was a good rally there by both teams, but I think we've seen this kind of a trend throughout all the sets. You've seen a lot of back and forth, a lot of pushing back and forth, point for point, shot for shot. So you can come out with a little momentum, go on a rally here, on a run.
Cassandra Williams blocked right back at her. And Coach Wiegand stepping up to the court and trying to fire her girls up as they now trail 8-7. Bontrager here to serve for the Lancers. It's going to be Cassie Sears, blocked back at her, kept alive. The block working out really well this set for the Lancers. Here's Zoe Wolfenbarger. It's Sierra Smith, and she's having one heck of a fourth set. And a timeout coming as the Pilots have given up 4 in a row. They were up 7-5. They now trail 9-7. And we will see how this timeout goes for the Pilots. The last one worked out pretty well. Coach Wiegand does not seem as upset as she did last time. In fact, letting her assistant handle the talking here. But hopefully this will just be a good breather, good reset for the Pilots. It will still be Bontrager serving for Grace. She served 3 straight points for them as a part of this 4-0 run to give themselves a 2-point lead. Of course, if they win this, we will go to a final 5th set. Hopefully the Pilots can come out of this timeout. Here comes Coach Wiegand. She got in the last couple words there. They were none too quiet. Certainly trying to get her girls fired up. We'll see if they have that fire, that intensity to try to come out of this timeout, close out this night with a victory.
Definitely see if they can get that last set in. Get that light of fire under them, make them really want it. We know they want it. We know both teams want to get that first win. Grace is coming out in this 4th set. Sierra Smith playing lights out, coming out. Let's see how the Pilots can respond, get that momentum on their side. It's a little bit of push and shoving, but they're going to get there. And it's a momentum. It's a game of momentum. We've said it all night. So you can get that traction and keep going forward.
Here we go, Bontrager. Over to Cassandra Williams. Kerrigan off the block, kept alive. 3 ball for the Lancers. Set up, big hit, and that one will get home.
Sandra Williams coming out. Coming in is Amanda Brinkman, bringing some senior leadership.
And Bontrager hits the net, can't get it over, and that is a huge sigh of relief from the Pilots because they were on the wrong end of a 5-0 run. Peyton Anderson, Pilots just down 2 here in the 4th set. Tipped over. It's Cassie Sears trying to go long. Kept up, Kerrigan, big hit out of bounds, and it went right through the block. So that will be a Pilot point as they now trail 9-10. And that one will go to the corner. Nobody was home for the Pilots. Grace back up by 2, and they bring in Alexa Hill to serve. Peyton Anderson has to go back, and they call a lift against Peyton. Back up to a 3-point Lancer lead. Aaron Carlos has to go down to the floor. Kerrigan off the block, kept alive. It will be Cassie Sears looking for a place to go with it. Good hit. Good save by Teal. Kerrigan again, and she goes into the net. That was a fantastic play by Cassie Sears just to get that last one over. Pilots end up getting a point out of it.
Well played there by the Pilots. Definitely see they can carry it over and get a couple more runs under the belt.
Great serve there, knocked up. Trying to punch it over is Kerrigan. So Pilots, couple points there. Back down to a 1-point game. They trail 11-12. 4th set as they try to put this one away. Katie Easter just clears the top of the net. Gonna go cross court. Kerrigan tapping it over. It's Vegas. Quick set over. Aaron Carlos right there. Vegas again just gets it over. Who's gonna score it? Taylor Bard going to the corner and on the line. Well, they've done it all 4 sets so far, trading points early on. That has been the name of the game, and right about here is where we've seen separation each time. Big hit
separation
from Kristen Mitchell, finds the line. That was a bomb off the hand of Kristen Mitchell to get it back to a 1-point game.
And Mitchell's definitely been struggling a little bit tonight, but that one able to find the line. See if we can bounce back a little bit.
And an errant pass. Great serve there from Aaron Carlos to tie this thing up at 13. A few more errant passes, and it will go long off of Kerrigan.
Great vision there by Katie Easter, just ducking, getting out of the way.
The Pilots have come back to take a 14-13 lead. Can Aaron Carlos keep it rolling, extend this lead a little bit? And miscommunication, mistiming, whatever you want to call it. Savannah Hart, first time we've called her name tonight. She was not ready for that. And that brings a timeout from head coach Katie Von Hofwegen as the Pilots have built a 2-point lead. And right now you can see from Coach Rochelle Wiegand, she is saying, put this thing away. You have a chance to win. Do it now. Don't go to a 5th set.
Definitely don't let him hang around, because if you keep him hanging around. Look at her, she's got some fire under her right now, telling him, bring it home. This is yours, just take it.
We will see if they can do that. Timeouts, both sides have worked out pretty well for both teams. They've come out with the right fire and the right passion to get back in a game or to keep a lead. So we'll see if this gets Grace moving back the direction where they started this set at. And that is on the line. Very, very close. And Coach Wiegand not happy. Both coaches coming to talk about it. Not sure why Katie von Hofwagen was getting involved in that conversation. Grace was awarded the point, I believe. No, now they are giving the point to Bethel. So, wow, that seemed to work out. I'm not sure what the call was. It started, and they said that it was Grace point, but the officials talked about it. The coaches came together and talked about it, and it is Bethel point now, 16-13, the Bethel lead. As far as I could tell, the hit was in, but the head official up on the stand, he did touch the net. I think he's saying there was a net violation, so the hit does not count. It is Bethel's point.
And much to the chagrin of Coach Katie von Hofwagen.
Cross court set, has to just tip it over. Kept alive, free ball. And Bethel can't get to it.
Mental mistake there by Peyton Anderson. Haven't seen many of those from her tonight, but.
Well, and I'll tell you what, that was a reprieve for Grace, because even then, they still looked out of sync trying to set it and get a good hit down. So lucky for them, they were able to get a point out of that. We'll see if they can get in a groove and take advantage, but Haley Brown's not going to let that happen. Open corner, and she fires it into the zone. 17-14, Bethel lead.
She's been hitting that cross-court spike all night long, and it's been working hard for her.
And it's Vegas. Possibly the Pilots' best weapon on the serve. She does a great serve there. It's Swedma trying to get it over. Peyton Anderson going back, Haley Brown, why not? And they call a double hit on Peyton Anderson. Tough break there for the Pilots, as Haley Brown was going to get a chance to put another one away. But as it stands, 17-15 Pilot lead, and Taylor Bard on to serve. Haley Brown just tipping it over. A lot of Lancers converge. It's Kerrigan to the back row. Haley Brown again. That one, they say it is down. They say it is down. And it will be Cassie Sears in for Katie Easter. Pilots up 3. Kristen Mitchell to serve it.
And once again, that cross-court spike from Haley Brown working wonders tonight.
Over. It's Swedma off the block. Kept up. It's Cassie Sears off the block and in. 19-15.
Starting to see a little bit of motion coming out of the Pilots now.
And they are going to call a timeout. Grace has one left. They might as well use it, because they now trail 19-15, and we are getting to the latter stages of this fourth set. See what can come out of this timeout, as now Katie von Hofwagen just seemingly pleading with her team to get back into this one. They started off pretty well here in the fourth set. Pilots have certainly come on strong down the stretch, and I'm sure that's what head coach Wiegand is saying to her team right now. You're in this, you have all the momentum, don't let them take it back. You have a chance to close out your night right here.
Definitely. And like you said, Grace started out this set with a lot of fire, a lot of heart, and now all the momentum's on Bethel's side. All they have to do, I'm sure Coach Wiegand said in the huddle, all they got to do is right there, just take it. It's not going to be handed to you. They're not going to hand it to you. They're not going to lay down. You got to take it.
Kristen Mitchell now going over. It's Sierra Smith. She was going strong at the start of this fourth set. Haven't said her name in a while, but when Grace needed a point badly, she came up with it for them, and now it's Swedma on to serve as the Pilots have a 19-16 lead. That high toss from Swedma. Big hit. And it's going to be a free ball for the Lancers. Can they take advantage? They can! And guess who Sierra Smith off the block and down. 2-point game. Big hit there from Vegas. Haven't said her name in a while in the kills department. She comes up with a big one there to snuff out a Grace run. Pilots up 20-17.
Yeah, definitely Vegas been quiet for a while. Made it heard right there.
Big hit there, kept alive by Haley Brown, but it's knocked down by Bontrager. Back to a 2-point game. It's going to be Cassie Sears. Peyton Anderson going to try to go to the back row. Kept alive. It's Kerrigan. Kept up. Free ball coming. No, Vegas put some pace on that one. Sierra Smith had a tough run to it. Anderson and Carlos come together. It's a 1-point game.
The Grays bench definitely feeling it after that point.
And Coach Wiegand, she thought about a timeout, but she's going to let it ride out here. She's going to trust her girls. Cassie Sears sends that one wide, and that should bring on. She's still going to let it go.
Coach Wiegand just telling her girls from the sidelines, calm down, bring it home.
And an ace. Grace is on top. And there you go. There's your timeout. She thought about it 2 points in a row. Let it play out. But now, Grace just 4 points away from forcing a 5th set. And you better believe, yeah, Coach Wiegand telling her girls to sit down and listen. And she is, I'm sure, going to let them have it. They had built up a decently good lead down the stretch here in this 4th set. And again, if Grace is able to win this, we'll play a 5th set. This is Bethel's chance to close this thing out and not have to make it go that far. They now trail 21-20. It's still Bontrager serving, and she has been deadly here in this 4th set for the Lancers. So we will see if Bethel can get the serve back and put this thing away.
Definitely, they've been coming out. Grace coming out. A lot of fire. They've come out of all timeouts very well. And they're getting the momentum. All the momentum is in their favor right now. And Bethel's got to respond and really bring this home because they, like I said, they had a very big lead.
Kept up. Vegas looking for a spot. Can't find it. Sierra Smith. Pilots need to take advantage of that. It's Vegas. That's how you take advantage. Big hit. Out of bounds. Ties it up, and the Pilots have the serve. Here's your shot, if you are the Pilots, to put this thing away.
Yeah, in big moments, players make plays, and that's exactly what Zoe Wolfenbarger did right there.
But Sierra Smith not going to let the Pilots get too much momentum. But she is going to take a seat. And if you're the Pilots, if she is off the floor, you have got to take advantage of that.
Let's see if the Pilots can capitalize.
Peyton Anderson could go over Cassie Sears. Somehow they get it back over. Good chance here for Vegas. Still kept up. Kerrigan going to the back row. Another chance. It's Amanda Brinkman. Bit of an awkward moment there, but a free ball given to the Pilots. It's Vegas again, still kept alive. Another free one. Cassie Sears trying to find a zone, still can't. Gonna go to the back. Here's Peyton Anderson. Here's Cassie Sears off a couple of blocks, and the Pilots take it, tying it up at 22.
Real amazing rally there from the Pilots. Reaction was all there. They were able to come out on top and get the point.
And
well
they
done.
Had to have that one Sierra Smith coming off the floor. Now Katie Easter, a chance to put the Pilots on top. Kerrigan just has to tip it over. It's kept up, but out of bounds. Tough one there as the Pilots go back down 22-23, and Kerrigan serving. Zwiedma back in the game. Watch out for her at the front of the net. It's Kristen Mitchell off the block. Trying to tip it over, and Brinkman knocks it out of bounds. Set point for Grace. They trailed 2-0 tonight. If they win this point, we will go to a 5th set. Peyton Anderson keeping it up. It's Kristen Mitchell trying to tip it in. Free ball to the Pilots. Blocked back. Another chance. Quick set. Kept up. Here is Kristen Mitchell off the block, and the Pilots aren't done yet. They still got to win this point. Another set point for Grace. It's Aaron Carlos.
They're staying alive. Coach Wiegand is fired up right now. Lighting a fire under her girls. See how we can close out this set.
There's Aaron. It's gonna be a 5th set. Savannah Hart had one other chance all night, and she went into the net. But when it mattered most, she got the most important point of Grace's night. And about a half hour ago, we were talking about how the Pilots were up 2-0 and playing well. Something got lit underneath Grace, because they have played the 3rd and 4th set with a lot of fire. Again, came down right there, 23-25. The 3rd set was 27-25. But all of that does not matter anymore. It doesn't matter by how much either team won any of the sets. We have one set to see who's going to get their first conference win right here, right now.
And I'm sure going into that intermission, this is not how Coach Wiegand and the girls saw this night going at all. We went in, we were talking sweeping your rival, and what that means. Now it just means surviving through the 5th set and beating your rival and putting this one away, probably like they should have done earlier, I'm sure Coach Wiegand would say.
Well, and if you come back and lose this one, that is going to be tough to deal with. You're gonna lose a lot of sleep over that. So absolutely right now, if you're Bethel, you got to forget about all of it. You got to get it out of your head, and it's just one set. You got to beat them one time, 1st to 15, and hopefully come out of here with a win.
Definitely.
And we will see if the Pilots can do that. They will start with the serve. Hopefully they can get off to a good start. And again, you don't have as much room to get in a hole here. When you're only playing to 15, that's 10 points less. If you get down early, that can really mean the end of things quickly. So you have to get out to a good start in a 5th set above all else.
Definitely, like you said, it's narrowed down. There's a lot less room for error. And with the errors we've seen from Bethel and some from Grace as well, it's more of who's going to make the first mistake and who's going to be able to capitalize on it. That'll really bring this one home.
Final minute here before this 5th set starts. The Pilots won the first set pretty easily compared to how the rest of this night has gone, 25-17. Won the second set 25-21. And then in the 3rd and 4th sets, put themselves in some bad spots, put themselves in a really bad spot in the 3rd set. Were able to keep it close all the way to the end, but both times losing 27-25, and then this 4th set losing 25-23. So hopefully they can come out here understanding what is on the line, because losing at home, bad enough. Losing to your rival, even worse. Losing to your rival at home when you had a 2-0 lead, that is just heartbreaking and something you do not want to have to deal with moving forward.
And that's definitely a tough pill to swallow. But looking at it now, I think they're calmed down. I think Coach Wiegand's going to have them in a good position and see if they can get that fire back and get those 15 points.
start things off for the Pilots, it's going to be Aaron Carlos, Katie Easter, Kristen Mitchell, Peyton Anderson, Cassandra Williams, and Zoe Wolfenbarger. Pilots will get the first serve, and it is going to be Katie Easter, who has done well tonight on the serve, so hopefully she can get the Pilots the start they need. Going to the back row with it. It's going to be Sierra Smith, just tips it over. And Grace getting the first point, and Sierra Smith continues what has just been a fantastic night for the Lancers.
Oh yeah, Sierra Smith is definitely giving that Bethel front line fits, especially in this fourth and now fifth set.
Big serve there from Sweden. Good job by the Pilots to keep it alive, and Vegas answering right back. Pilots saying we have a weapon of our own, and they put her to good use right there, and it'll now be Aaron Carlos serving, tied up at 1.
Definitely haven't heard Vegas' name in that much in the fourth set. Now she's making her presence felt here in the fifth.
Here comes Kerrigan. Haley Brown, it's blocked back to the Pilots. Now Vegas, and she puts it away.
Like I said before, in the big moments, players make plays, and Vegas is coming out saying, I'm still here, and I'm not done yet.
Well, they may only have 2 seniors on this team, but Vegas is one of them. And she may be the Pilots' best player. She's certainly looking like it right now. What a save by Katie Easter. She just laid out for that one, got it back over, gave the Pilots another chance, but Kerrigan just finds an open zone. 2-2. And if you look over at the other side, it is Bontrager serving for Grace. And she has gone on some runs tonight from the serve. But Vegas, we said it, better to be lucky than good at times. She's been good plenty of times. She had a little luck coming to her. Mishit that one, but it just dropped in on the line. Gets the Pilots back out in front and gets Bontrager off the serve. Hits the top of the net, gets in. Here's Smith, blocked back at her. Haley Brown fired up. They have not been able to do that all night. But in the fifth set, in the biggest moments, they do. What a play from Haley Brown.
Yeah, Haley Brown said, not this time.
Great serve there from Vegas. Big hit from Hart. Kept up. Vegas got to go over with it, and she mishits it. 4-3, Pilots still on top. And Smith subbing out. Can the Pilots take advantage?
Let me see if they can capitalize now that Sierra Smith's off the floor.
Kristen Mitchell going to the back corner. Kept up. And blocked back to the Lancers. Here's Kerrigan again, tipping it over. Easter's there, off the net and down. All tied up at 4.
Seems to be the trend with every set we've seen. I know we've said it a million times, but they're just going back and forth in this game. Whoever can catch a little bit of traction has been coming out on top in these sets.
Here's Hill. Kept up, Haley Brown off the top. Free ball, back corner and good.
Haley Brown's really come alive in these fourth and fifth sets. Also Vegas showing some fire.
Katie Easter subbing out for Cassie Sears. Pilots up 1, playing to 15 in this pivotal fifth set. Kerrigan off the block. Peyton Anderson setting up Haley Brown. That's kept alive. Tough set. Going back and a double hit. Bard had trouble getting called with that in the first 2 sets. Hasn't been called on it in a while. She does there, and it's a 2-point Pilot lead. And tipped down off the net. Pilots scrapping away at it, and it's going to be a timeout for the Lancers, down 3. 7-4, fifth set.
Definitely that little bit of momentum shift right there for the Pilots is going to make this conversation with Coach Wiegand during the timeout probably much happier. And then before that timeout, the front line play from Bethel, much better than we've seen coming out of the fourth set.
Well, this is the Pilots' real chance right here. You're up 7-4 again. You're only playing to 15, so you have a great opportunity, and I'm sure that's most of the conversation happening in the Pilot huddle right now is there's blood in the water. You got to go get it. You got to keep your foot down. Do not let them get back in this thing. Keep building up this lead. Let's get out of here with a victory.
Well said.
It will be Kristen Mitchell to serve. And Savannah Hart puts a good hit on it. Peyton Anderson just gets it over. Little miscommunication, free ball. Can the Pilots take advantage? Kerrigan, big hit, block back, and out of bounds. 8-4, Pilot lead.
There's that emotion coming from Haley Brown again. She's feeling it right now.
And in this fifth set, they do switch sides. So with a 4-point lead at the switch, with the serve, still Kristen Mitchell. She's been doing very well. We'll see if she can keep it going.
Yeah, she was struggling early, but she really seemed to put it together toward the end of here.
Here's Hart, big shot, kept alive. What a dig by Erin Carlos. And that one is blocked down and in. That was a heck of a play by Erin Carlos just to keep that rally going. As it stands, it's an 8-5 Pilot lead with Caitlin Kerrigan serving. Just kept up. Haley Brown going back the other way. Peyton Anderson going to try to go back corner, and it's in. What a play by Peyton Anderson.
There she goes, gives a little thumbs up to the sideline. They're feeling it right now.
9-5.
Sandra Williams coming back. Don't forget how good she was doing in that fourth set.
Haley Brown on the serve. Errant pass, kept in. Sweetma, big shot out of bounds. 5 points from victory are the Pilots.
A little too much on that one. Pilots are feeling it now. They know it's close.
Hart, that hit the antenna. Point to the Pilots. 11-5. And Grace has called their final timeout of the evening. Might as well at this point, down 6 in the fifth and final set. And Andrew, we talked about, it's all about getting off to a good start. And I can't think of a much better start than 11-5.
Definitely. And now I think the conversation going on that huddle is just keep calm, keep playing the way you've been playing, bring it home.
You are 4 points for victory. There's no reason it really should have gotten to a fifth set in the first place. But you are where you are. You have to close things out right here, right now.
Definitely, you can't dwell on that. You can't go to the sideline and say, oh, we were down. We were up 2-0, and now where's that? You can't give up. It's now, we're here. This is the moment. We have to capitalize and take it.
And give credit where credit is due. Coach Rochelle Wiegand has not lost that fire all night. She has been all over her players. And they have absolutely responded whenever she has called them out. And we will see if they can close this out here and get their first conference victory over arch rival Grace. They're 4 points away from it. Haley Brown on the serve. Errant pass, kept alive. It's going to be a free ball. It's out of bounds. Great serve there from Haley Brown to get Grace all sorts of whacked out.
Haley Brown looking like that form she was in Wednesday night. Great serving.
Hit up, Sweetma. It's going to be Vegas to the back row. Kept up, they meet in the middle. Grace back in the scoring column, now 12-6 with the serve. It will be the libero, Kaylee Teal. Errant pass. Going to be a free ball for Bethel, but they let it go. It falls in the corner for a Grace point. 12-7 now.
If you're Bethel, you can't hang your heads on that. You have to keep it going, keep the momentum moving forward.
Kept up. Cassie Sears. Cross court. Bontrager. That's back over. Still alive. It's going to be Bontrager again. That's off the net and back. They say it was blocked. Sweedma up. Peyton Anderson, and it's a Pilot point.
Great front line play there on that rally by the Pilots.
And they showed great composure. Everybody on the Pilot sideline thought that Grace had hit it off the net and it wasn't blocked. They kept their composure, finished out that point strong. And they now are 2 points away from their first conference victory.
Pilots are feeling that they're in the zone right now.
It'll be Peyton Anderson. Can she close this thing out?
Giving it up to the sophomore serving here.
Peyton Anderson's had a fantastic night. Good sets. And when she's had the opportunity to shoot one into an open zone, she has done so with great proficiency. Here she is on the serve. Kept up. It's Vegas. Now Bontrager off the block, still alive. Anderson setting up Cassandra Williams, and as I was just saying, she'd had great sets all night. That one was a little errant. 13-8 now. Taylor Bard on to serve.
A little commentator's jinx there.
Anderson, Cassandra Williams. That one was good, but it was kept alive. And Cassandra, I don't think she knew where the ball was at. She was ready to block it, did not realize that thing drifted over onto the Pilot's side. That brings it to 13-9. Grace will not lie down. This one's Cassie Sears. Great dig there. And blocked back at Sierra Smith. She was back in the game to try to get Grace back in it. And now it will be match point. Katie Easter started this thing off all the way back in the first set. Can she finish it here in the fifth set? It's Smith off the block, in the air. Anderson, Mitchell for the win, and she's down the line. The Pilots have taken it from Grace. They had a 2-0 lead. Grace forced a fifth set, but they came out firing in the fifth set. They take it 15-9. They have one in the win column on the conference play this season. They've taken one from Grace. That was a heck of a match, Andrew. We were so happy to bring it to you tonight. That was a good win for the Pilots.
Definitely. It was very well done. Very well done to get that first conference win, especially over the Lancers. I know it means a little bit more because it's a rivalry. And definitely a lot for the film when you see they were up 2-0. But they were able to bring it home. They were able to get their heads and their shoulders, and
they may have not closed it out like they wanted to, but they played with fire all night. They played well all night. They get that hard-fought fifth set victory. Just a reminder for everyone watching at home, we'll be back here on BSN with more volleyball Friday, September 23rd against another rival, Indiana Wesleyan. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Then the very next day, Saturday the 24th, we will bring you Bethel and Mount Vernon Nazarene at 2 o'clock. Once again, the Pilots a huge 5-set victory over rival Grace College. For Andrew Boyer, I'm Ethan Klein. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.